Okay, my friends, family, and loved ones, I'm back from Occupy LA. Um, it was an amazing, amazing experience. I was there for at least 58 days, and here I'm gonna express a couple things, and I'm gonna read a couple things that I wrote. Here's the first thing. Let's see. I wrote this on November 26th. It says, "Why I came. I came to both experience and provide the experience of a mode of living based upon non-violation of each other's freedom, a voluntary system of organization and action. By far, it has been demonstrated in this great experiment of ours, a village we created at 200 North Spring Street, City Hall of Los Angeles, that no living soul can be forced or coerced into actions or refraining from actions which are non-violate of the free actions of other living souls. This concept can be greatly expanded upon to see the widespread implications of such a theory. And without labeling it as another cognatism, I would say a wedge must be driven between business and government. The reason I say a wedge must be driven between business and government is because that's how I've come to see politics and life in general, is that government being here to either administer the accounts which they are administering, meaning they take our taxes for, let's say, the Postal Service. So they're administering those funds. Secondly, they're here to protect our rights. So I see that private individuals in industry step forward going into government and they regulate and control us and things for their own benefit. So I want to see a wedge driven between business and state, much like the wedge between church and state, the wall of separation. And my main emphasis is that we need to have a voluntary society. So the second thing I wrote is this: our grand conspiracy. Conspiracy meaning breathe together. So something beautiful has happened, people. While experiencing a large degree of limitation, a highly diverse group of individuals came together in one camp to peacefully direct their aspirations and concerns toward a single purpose, showing all the world what is possible when you truly love and care about creating community. We wish to further correct the course of history in accordance with our highest reflection of what we know is possible, and to bring into alignment the areas of society that are out of sync. We seek to control our property, energy, and food, and to create a stable, fair economy. Please continue to open your hearts to the abundant world that is. So, it's just some funny, interesting things that happened there. Like what did go down at Occupy LA. I mean, at first there was only like 30 tents, and by the time we were done, entire City Hall was completely surrounded. So, since anybody could just show up there, there was an issue with theft and wanting to create safety for each individual and their friends. So what ended up happening was people formed tribes, and the very first tribe was Love Tribe, and from then on, many tribes started forming. And like there was Music Tribe, there was Bike Scum, Tarp Tribe, Star Tribe, and the tribes developed mainly out of safety. So I think it's kind of like a natural thing, like a de facto segregation. But there was a lot of intermingling, and it ended up being that the General Assembly became less and less important because if the tribes weren't making it happen, then it wasn't happening. The GA ended up being talk, but what was really going down was what the tribes were doing. So that was, slowly recognized over time. But as far as non-violation and having everything be voluntary, that was totally the case. I mean, no matter what side you were on, like the communists that were coming in there, the socialists, the capitalists, Nobody could get anything done unless it was on a voluntary basis. There was nobody in there was saying like, we can force you to do this. It was all voluntary. And that was something that I think was brought a realization to many people's sides, because the systems that they advocate in American life are systems that force people to do things. Whether it's forcing to pay taxes, forcing to help other people, or forcing people to do things for their own good, like omnipotent moral busybodies. Here's something else I wrote. It says, many decry capitalism as the culprit, the source of our woes. I ask this question though. Do you think any other system would be any better if we have all the same hearts and minds involved in this new system? Label what is by any name, capitalism, oligopoly, etc. But what the truth is that the status quo is based on people's ability to control other people. And the checks and balances of our Constitution have been overridden by people, and whatever system we have in place will be exactly the same unless the sovereignty of every living soul is respected. The non-violation of each individual and a voluntary basis for society is a core ethic we all share. So any system allowing for one individual or group of individuals to overcome another is in the same category. It's in the ash heap of history. Like, we're not going that way. We're going a completely different way, folks. And that's what has been established in my mind and in my experience at Occupy LA. We literally created our own little village there. We had a fire pit in Love Tribe. We only lit it up one time, and the cops came so fast. They busted in our tribe, in our camp. But there were so many people in there, they immediately wanted to get the confrontation out of there. The end result ended up being that they were like, whose fire is it? And we were like, it's your fire. It's our fire. It's all of our fire. And I literally told the cops to their face, I said, when men are cold, they make fire. So how can that not be a natural right? And of course, it has to do with the fact that, oh, what if the fire catches the tarps or the tents on fire and it becomes a public safety issue? And so that's what they use to control us, is public safety, just like they try to use the health department to try to control us. The health department literally tried to go in there and say, no, sorry, the way you guys are feeding yourselves, is against health code, so you can't do it. And some members of Occupy LA were like, okay. But I was like, and many others were telling them, just like they're doing up in Oakland, if the health department comes in and says, we're going to search you because we want to see how you're feeding each other, you say, can I see your search warrant? And that's what I told people at Occupy LA, and some people were like, oh, you don't understand, son. It's the health department. No, you don't understand. It's an arm of government trying to control us. It's the Constitution. It's the Fourth Amendment. Respect our right. If you want to help facilitate our food mechanism and helping us eat healthier and bring us food and bring us things that will make it more sanitary, thank you. But just shutting us down, And that was so obvious that that's what they were trying to do. They also tried to do that with the farmers market. They literally try to tell us, if we don't move our tents because of the farmers market single occupancy permit, if we don't move our tents, they're going to cancel the farmers market permit to make the narrative be the farmers market got shut down because of Occupy LA. We totally called their bluff, although some were not politically savvy and were going to totally fall for it. We totally called their bluff, and the farmers market was totally accommodated. And in fact, many said that their business picked up because, why? There's 1,000 people now across the street who are hungry. Even though that farmer's market charged me $2 for an apple and a pear. I thought it was kind of expensive. So, Occupy LA is still going strong. We still have our general assemblies. It's all the way down in downtown LA. I'm all the way up here in the valley. So I haven't just been popping down there. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a Camaro, and I'm literally selling my Camaro because I'm sick of the gas mileage, and I'm going to get a better car. And I haven't announced this yet on YouTube, but I am moving to Mississippi. We are moving to Mississippi in March, and a bunch of people from Occupy LA and Love Tribe in general are coming with us to Mississippi. We have 400 acres of land in my friend's family trust. It's just sitting there since the days of slavery, and we're gonna see what we can make of it. It's very exciting. We're gonna create an intentional community there. It's in northern Mississippi, and I can't remember the name of the county and everything right now. But there's a stream, a river of water running through it as wide as the street that runs in front of City Hall, and it's a beautiful thing. So we're really excited about that. Occupy LA was an amazing experience. We all lived together, ate together, made food together. We were hungry together, tired together, cold together, living as a tribe, having intertribal relations, dealing with all sides politically, trying to find other places where we could go and grow food, and we kept getting stopped. And this is what I want to say. This is what is happening in the world, okay? And I hope you're still watching this video. Maybe it got kind of boring, but this is the situation we're dealing with. All of space is under control. That's why they've, put admiralty law on everything. That's why, at some point in the history of law, and it was the 1700s or 1600s, they got really spiritual with law, and they said that we are all vessels in the sea of consciousness, or floating in the universe. And what we literally have is a situation where all space is controlled. So go and try and build a house somewhere, go and try and live somewhere, or be somewhere for any extended period of time. It's not allowed, because they want you to live within their system. They want you paying taxes through them. They want you buying your food through them. And by them, what do I mean? I mean the network of people who are all colluding together to funnel money upward. It's the same situation where, yeah, Ralph's and Vons and all these big grocery stores, they don't want masses of people growing their own food. Look at McDonald's. It's not just a place that sells food. It's one of the largest real estate companies in the world. And they want you going through them to get your food, whether it's pennies or whatever it is. It's the same as the people in the Federal Reserve. They make pennies on the dollar, less than a penny on the dollar maybe, but it all adds up and it goes up to them. So it is the politics of space, and they're controlling it, and that's what sovereignty means. Sovereignty means that you control your property, that you control your space. It doesn't mean that nobody can tell me what to do. It doesn't mean that you're creating controversy, going up to people telling them that you're sovereign. It means that you are in control. Remember, the Rothschild said, own nothing, control everything. And it's the politics of space, and being able to control your food, control your living space, control your education on a local level. So it's not that we're that I'm for any type of like communism or anything like that. I was raised a capitalist. I believe highly in individualism and the respect for the individual, because we are not a species. That's just a description of each individual together. So I think that if we have more local economies and we stop sending everything up to a centralized, a centrally controlled system, that will bring us more freedom and more democracy. In democracy, I mean each person will be able to have a say in their life. It doesn't mean that 51% can tell the other 49% to sit at the back of the bus. Because when our rights are protected, our individual rights are protected, certain things are not up for vote. But whether we drive on the left side or the right side of the street, that's arbitrary, and those are the things we vote for. So yeah, it's the politics of space. They control all of it. That's why it's either going to be privately owned land or government land. And there was a guy at Occupy LA, his name was Juan. A lot of people think he's crazy. He's freaking awesome. I've known him for years. I met him years back when I had tea parties, folks. You know what I mean? Like, I've been waiting for revolution for a long time. It's not right wing, it's not left wing. We had And the Fed guys there, we had Code Pink there. When Obama was on the Jay Leno show when he first came to office, I went and I met this guy Juan, and he's been advocating the same plan. Why aren't we, as a group, or us together, financing our homes out of the hands of the landlords into our hands? Everybody should have a house. The way the system is now, the people keep coming up off of our homes. They keep coming up off of our property because they're creating these boom and bust cycles. And we do not hold a loyal title to our property, folks. Like, look into that. Look into what happened throughout the international debt cycles since the founding of this country, and see that incrementally, little by little, the American people have been robbed of their ability to control their property, to truly, truly own and control their property. So that's why things are getting worse and worse. I mean, that's just one of the reasons. But it's going in both directions because our consciousness is expanding. That's why Zbigniew Brzezinski said recently that it used to be easier to control 1 million people, but now we're waking up. People are becoming politically aware of what's going on. And, you know, the 1% is now saying that it's easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control 1 million people. I mean, Obama just talked about having these detention camps and being able to detain people. Rachel Maddow was talking about it. Everybody said, all these FEMA camps, all this stuff is all BS. That's why they want to come take us one at a time. They're not going to come get all the guns in one day. They're going to come get them one at a time. And everybody's like, oh, out of my cold dead hand. Yeah, well, in each and every individual situation, when the cops came up to us at Occupy LA, each person wants to just get out of it in that situation. They don't want to get arrested by the cops. And when the cops come for you and your family, but nobody else, you're going to look like the lunatic, crazy gun nut. That's how they're doing it to us. So just be politically savvy, wake up. Let's have locally controlled systems where our rights are not up for vote. Everything has to be voluntary and non-violent of our rights. And no matter what system you advocate, we're all going for the same thing. We're all going for that same thing that Thomas Jefferson was talking about, that Reagan was talking about, that the shining city on a hill, where each person has their rights. It's just some people go about it a different way. So I'm back from Occupy LA. There's more to come because the movement is still strong. So much love to all of you. Peace in the valley. I'm back in the valley again.